Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Sienna here with a brand new video. Today we are going over 5 more tarot myths, and this is part 2 of a 2-part set on the subject. So if you've missed part 1, I highly suggest you go and watch it. I'll have a link in the description and I'll throw a card around here somewhere, and I might put another card up somewhere else later in the video. Anyways, if this is something that you find interesting, stay tuned. The first myth on today's list, which is actually number 6 in the whole set here, is that your first deck must be gifted to you, otherwise the cards are not going to work. There is an actual belief out there that buying your first deck is bad luck, and that, like I said a second ago, that the cards won't work for you and that you'll have a hard time reading them, and it's just not going to work out if you bought that deck by yourself. That's not true. It's not true. It's hard to say that one with a straight face. I was not actually told this one by anybody when I first started reading tarot, but I did see it circling around online a lot, and it was really confusing to me because I actually didn't really have a way of getting my first deck gifted to me, just from my situation at the time when I had first gotten into reading tarot. We're gonna go into the whole part about the deck not working if you buy your first deck on your own. There are a few reasons why a tarot deck may not work for someone, and I just have a couple of examples here. The first one is that somebody could be brand new to tarot and they might not fully know how it works or how to read the cards. The deck will still technically work, but the person using it might not know how to interpret what they're seeing. Another reason why a deck may not work for someone is because a particular deck may resonate with some people, but not others. Some will connect with various art styles, colors, cultural elements, and things like that in a deck, and others simply won't. Some decks are better suited to beginner readers who are just starting out and need something simple, and some decks are better for advanced readers who already know what stuff means, they already know how to read, but they're looking for something more challenging. Sometimes when you buy yourself, actually it doesn't even matter if you bought the deck yourself or if it was gifted to you. Sometimes a deck just doesn't resonate, and it doesn't matter how it came into your possession. Now we're gonna go back to that first part of the myth, talking about how the first deck must be gifted to you. I think this is BS. I really do, because some people come from a background where tarot and other forms of divination are frowned upon or actively discouraged. This can be like a religious household where that kind of stuff is considered evil and demonic and dangerous. See my last video on that particular point. Or, you know, some people grow up in a household where spirituality and religion is just not practiced, or it's ridiculed. Somebody may have to buy their own deck, their first deck for themselves, because of the slim chance of receiving it from anybody in their personal circle. I think that's okay. It's just not true that your deck won't work and that it's bad luck if it's not gifted to you the very first time. The next myth we're going to talk about is the myth that tarot is extremely difficult and hard to learn. Tarot can be difficult, it can be complicated and hard to learn, but it doesn't have to be. There are many layers and meanings to the cards, but you don't have to read using all of them. Go with your intuition. Do not force yourself to read tarot in a way that does not resonate or does not make sense to you. Because it's when you do that that you start running into problems and it becomes really difficult Just some random examples here. Some people use tarot and astrology together. There are cards that correspond with various zodiac signs and the different houses and stuff like that. For somebody who doesn't know anything about astrology, they try to read tarot and they keep hearing about all of these different astrological things, it might be really difficult for them to learn to read tarot when they have all this in mind, until they've had enough experience in both fields to make that work. Some people are drawn to the numerology aspect of the tarot and like to use that to estimate time frames and dates. Now, that's not an exact science with tarot. It is an estimation, but it's often pretty close, pretty accurate. I just would say that it's not 100%. Some people love using the tarot to estimate dates, times, etc., and some don't. Some people read reversals when a card's upside down, and some don't. That's fine. It is best to ease into learning tarot. Take your time learning the cards, learning the meanings, and how they come together to form a reading. Learn about the different spreads that you can use, but know that you are not confined to using somebody else's preset layouts. It's okay to start small. It's actually best to start small by drawing one card each day. And then you get a little bit better at that. And then maybe you go to drawing 3 cards each time. You get a little bit better at that. And then you learn maybe a very basic spread, like a 3-card spread. You get good at that. So maybe you upgrade to learning like a 5-card spread. Just take it easy. Be patient with yourself. Learn to recognize your intuition and allow your intuition to guide you as well. That's a very important part of reading tarot and doing readings for people. For some people, it helps to do lots of research, and feel free to experiment with different ways to do this practice. It doesn't have to be extremely hard. The third myth on our list, which is, I think, the 7th one overall, is that you need different decks for different topics. Not necessarily. Some readers who own multiple decks may assign a particular one for readings on a certain topic or with a certain vibe. Some like to have a deck for relationship readings. Some have maybe a deck for political readings or like really serious topics. Some might have a deck reserved just for spiritual concepts and topics. I sometimes do this with my decks, but it's a personal preference. I do believe, we're just getting into my own thoughts now. I do believe that each deck has its own personality or energy, and each one may prefer readings of a certain vibe or of a certain nature. But here's the thing. If you only have one deck, that's okay. You can use it, even if you have multiple decks, use your deck or your decks to read on whatever you want. You own the deck does not own you. The 4th one on our list is the myth that you must never let other people touch your cards. This is not a hard and fast rule. I understand where this one comes from and why it exists, but again, it comes down to personal preference. Many readers do not like other people touching their decks or their cards because they don't want someone else's energy to be on their cards. Some people are concerned that another person's energy will affect or mess with their deck. There are many ways to cleanse and reset the energy of a tarot deck. Now, that is a topic for another video. If you want me to talk about that in the future, just let me know in the comments and I will absolutely do that for you guys. Now, personally, I don't like it when other people touch or use my things without permission. It drives me nuts, especially when I have already put a boundary up or made it very clear, please don't touch my decks, please don't touch my divination tools, my crystals, and it's not even like spiritual stuff. This goes for like the stuff in my classroom at my other job. Like, don't touch my resources that I brought from home. Like, it's just, a lot of people are like that. Don't touch my stuff. However, if I was teaching someone tarot and they did not have their own deck, depending on the person, I might lend them one of mine, as long as the deck came back in the same condition it was in when I lent it out. And I have let other people touch and use my cards in the past, and after they were done, they gave them back, and I simply used, some crystals, or I used some cinnamon or some Palo Santo, or I used Reiki or some other method to cleanse and clear the energy. It's okay if you don't want or allow others to use your cards, but I'm just saying it's okay if you do allow it. You're not breaking any rules, and there is no wrong way to see this. The fifth one on our list, which I think is number 10. I think I have my count screwed up, but I'm pretty sure we went through 5 in this list. The last one we're going to talk about is the myth that all of your problems can be solved with tarot. Tarot can help you understand what's going on in your life and can help you understand your situation and can help you by providing options or letting you know what a possible outcome might be should you make choice A, B, or C, or stay on the path that you're on. But it's not going to solve everything. Sometimes we need to accept professional help to get to the bottom of certain issues. I think it's okay to read tarot just like as a supplement while you're doing other things to figure out your situation. Sometimes we have to go to the doctor and get tests done. You're having health issues, something is like going on, you feel weird and you don't know why. Tarot might not be the best place to turn in that kind of situation. Go to the doctor, get tests done, rule out stuff that can be ruled out by a professional. Sometimes we need to talk to a professional therapist to help us with our mental and emotional struggles. Tarot can help provide peace of mind, but it's not going to solve everything. Sometimes the answer to our prayers or the answer to our questions is relying on somebody else to give us the help that we need. Sometimes you just got to talk to an expert in whatever subject you're concerned about. And professional stuff aside, sometimes we just need to ask the people in our lives what they're thinking and feeling instead of solely relying on what a tarot reading says. Sometimes we can get a lot of insight on now, like for example, let's just say my friend is really struggling with her mental health. What can I do to help her? We can find that out from the tarot, but sometimes it's useful to go to that friend and say, hey, I see that you're struggling. I really care about you and I want to help you. What can I do to help you? Or is there anything I can do to make this a little bit easier on you? Like I said, tarot is a very good supplement. You can get a lot of valuable information and advice from a tarot reading, but I wouldn't rely on it 100% for everything in life. So was that helpful to you guys? Let me and others know in the comments if you have heard of any of these myths, if they kind of threw an obstacle or a roadblock in your journey of learning tarot. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this. Remember to like and subscribe to Sienna Rose Metaphysical, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.